Right, thank you, Frauke. All right, hello everyone. Melvin from Melzen. I'm the founder of All in Power. We founded All in Power to facilitate in the new regulations that have came up in the few last years, also known as the winter package, in which consumers are stimulated to be a part of the energy transition and a part of the energy system. But actually, we're quite a long way off. Because have you ever considered what if anyone could become an energy supplier? That's silly, right? You have a home, maybe some solar panels, and you become an energy supplier? How does that work? No, this sounds illogical. But actually, this is what the EU sort of would like to see happen. And we as well would like to see this happen. And the second thing is, if you are not an energy supplier, you have to work with one. If you are producing it, renewable energy, you have to sell it to an energy supplier who will then sell that power to someone else. And if you look at what you get and what they pay, you see that there is some overhead there. It's about 2 cents in the Netherlands. Could be more, could be slightly less, but this is average. And that's a lot, because this money is not going into renewable energy. This is going into a company that is basically doing nothing more but accounting, doing the bookkeeping on the energy exchanged. What if we can turn those 2 cents into only half a cent? That means that about 25% more value will go towards renewable energy, or you could reduce the energy costs for consumers. So today I'm here to announce that the rules have changed, because now anyone could become an energy supplier. That's interesting, right? And by the way, we also fixed the cost issue. So we were able to reduce the overhead by 1.5 euro cents, up only down to a half euro cent. How do we do that? That's threefold. First of all, we reduced the cost of being an energy supplier. If you look at the previous speakers, we've seen some complicated patchwork with many boxes connected with links and platforms, regulations, regulators, many operators, TSO, DSO. There are so many parties that need to work together, exchange data. You need to do a lot if you're an energy supplier. And we found a way to do it cheaper. We worked together with someone for that who developed a platform as well. Every energy supplier will try to reduce their cost to serve, because that's their margin at the end of the day. So we're not going to win the war here. And the second thing is efficient marketing. Just consider, if you buy energy, who are you buying from? It's probably the one that shouts the loudest. It's someone giving away presents, or if it's a very funny commercial. And you see that this is an arms race. Whoever puts in the most money into marketing gets the most customers. And who pays for all these marketing costs? That's right, that's the consumer again. So we broke this cycle. Because we're only working with renewable energy that's produced locally, these producers of renewable energy can use their local network to sell their power. They don't need to rely on national commercials with famous people. They don't need to make primetime television. They can just go to their neighbors, go to their friends, family, and use that local network. Because if you live in the same city, and that builds a relation of trust. And that means that the marketing efficiency is much better than for a regular energy supplier. And the last bit, and this is where the real innovation starts, it's called renewables hedging. If you're an energy generator, supplier, or consumer, you need to manage the cost, the energy cost, which can fluctuate. There's volatility in there. And if you just, if the prices go up by 10 or 20%, that's pretty much. So you want to reduce these risks, which is very common. And the way that we do that right now, so traditional risk management, can be summarized in just a single word, and that's hedging. Hedging is the way that we trade risks together. So people aggregate risk. These are large companies who own billions of euros in assets, and they aggregate risk. as to reduce them. And you, at the end of the line, are paying an insurance fee, let's say. So you're paying too much because you fixed your price and someone else took your risk away at a premium. And if you're an energy producer, you're getting too little. But this is worth it because price volatility doesn't impact you so much. But we are replacing it with renewables hedging. Prices can go up, prices can go down. And on the left, we have an investment into an asset. And this asset, this bunch of cables and inverters, will produce power into the future. And just like a stock on the stock market, if you invest now 1,000 euros into Bitcoin, you know somewhere in the future that Bitcoin will have a certain value. But in this case, it's not the value of the asset itself, but the energy that's coming out of it. And we already know, as a technical guaranteed property, that that energy will come out in the future. The only thing is, we don't know what it will be worth. And that's why people use hedging, to make sure that it doesn't go down too much. And on the other hand, we have a home, could be a factory, anything that uses energy. We don't know how much they will pay for their energy in the future, but we do know that they need energy. And if we put these two together, one is afraid of prices going down, the other is afraid of prices going up. Something magical happens. The risks cancel out. You need a kilowatt hour, I have one. Let's work together. The prices go up, we don't care. We already sold it to each other. That's called renewables hedging. And why does it work? This is a graph showing the prices for buying and selling energy in the Netherlands. And as you see in the blue line, that's the price to buy energy. And in orange, it's for selling your solar power. And you see there's a lot of volatility. At the lowest point, it's 33. At the highest, 51. That's a crazy amount of volatility. But the difference between the two lines is much more stable. Because when the trend goes down, they both go down. And when the trend goes up, they both go up. And down again. And this is because the market is interconnected. We're a system. We have to work together. And the bottom line is, if you want to manage your risks using renewables hedging, this is much cheaper and more sustainable. Because these guys that use traditional hedging methods, they use fossil generators. They buy then their risk into long-term contracts for gas and coal. And when we stop paying them to take our risks, they actually become volatile. They have a problem because nobody wants to give them any certainty. So let's break the cycle, guys. Stop doing traditional hedging. Use renewables hedging instead. It's free to use. Here you go. And as the cornerstone of our platform, we'd like to introduce it to you. You're the first to see it. This is the All in Power platform. And on it, people exchange energy. And you can now become an energy supplier through this platform. We offer a dashboard that manages your energy consumption and production, your costs, just everything. And in the energy store, you can find your deals. So this means that we are, if we are successful, we will be the Uber of the energy sector, as Wietse introduced earlier. So I mentioned we are the cheapest way to exchange energy. We take everything away from the producers of energy to become an energy supplier. We handle things like customer support and regulated cost invoicing. So that means that for only 0.3 euro cents, we take all of that away from you. We couldn't have done this alone. We work together with our partners. For the first one, INI, that's a 30-year-old startup from Powerhouse. They help us reduce the cost to serve. And if you want to start your own all-in-power or platform energy supply service, you should really go talk to them. And then there's Dexter. They have artificial intelligence forecasting software, which help us to reduce the trading costs for our customers by a lot. So that means that supply and demand are better in balance. And the last one, that's PVNet. the Dutch balancing responsible party service provider. Well, I have a few seconds of the platform in action, but that was it for me. And I guess thank you for your time.